a first-round draft pick in 2010.
Yeah.
And he has had quite a course through the NHL, and we're going to really be looking forward to hearing from you about all that, where you are today. And we've got also Dr. Jason Berkeley, my faithful co-host. How are you doing, Jason?
I'm doing pretty good, thank you. I'm going to be talking like a smooth jazz DJ today, so if that's okay with you.
I think that's fantastic. There's no better way to bring up the energy than with a smooth jazz DJ voice. Thank you for doing that. That's really helpful.
I'm very fired up today.
Very good. So we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on, because we are down to, what, 40 days to puck drop, or 39?
39, I think.
I'm not that anybody's counting, but
Yeah.
There's nothing to do much in the summer.
Chomping at the bit to
I
get
watched
to-
a lot of baseball this weekend, and I can honestly say that it took me a very long time to get any information of what was going on in those games.
Little League or?
I didn't watch Little
Right,
League.
Little League
no.
World Series is going on right now. Yeah, I'm always fascinated with those kids because some of those kids have an incredible arm when they're pitching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, oh, it's crazy.
And I'm sitting there in my living room saying, "Oh, I could hit that. I could hit that."
I bet you couldn't.
Oh, I know. No, see, one thing you don't know about me, I was a phenomenal hitter.
Really?
Anybody that knows me growing up in baseball, when I played baseball, I was an incredible hitter. I was a pull hitter, I'm a lefty, and I could hit the curveball. I was a very, very good hitter. So,
All right, so maybe you could hit the Little Leaguers.
I 100%. That 12-year-old's going to bring, for sure. I could definitely take him down. Take
That's
him deep.
good. Did you play baseball at all?
You know, it's funny. I was good buddies with this a huge baseball fan. I mean, we still keep in touch, kind of sort of, just because we're both Dodger fans. But anyway, growing up, he had some Little League baseball thing. We must have been like 8 or 9 at the time. But I slept over at his house. I was just intentionally gonna, go to his game, and then I think they were missing a player to like illness or something like that. So someone had to step in. I did it, and I ended up hitting like the winning run.
No way.
Which was, I remember my dad.
Classic.
It was just like, I mean, I've never, I don't think at that point, like, picked up a bat, and I hit a single. I don't know, and I think the bases were like, it was a walk-off type thing. And anyway, my dad picked me up, like put him on his shoulders into the house.
No way.
Yeah, my brother and sister were just,
That's
they
great.
were going crazy.
There's
so,
nothing
yeah.
better than driving in the winning run.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than that.
And still to that, I mean, that was the only, I mean, I don't do any like beer league baseball or anything like that in the summer, or,
No.
beer league softball, so.
It'd be fun, but
so
I don't think you can afford to do that.
I ended my career on top
There you go.
of baseball, so.
Yeah, but most hockey players have such incredible eye-hand coordination that they're not only good at baseball, hitting the ball, but also golf. Because
I'm
their
not a
natural
golfer.
swing.
I just can't. I mean, I don't know how their wives let them, for 5 hours of it,
No.
especially with a kid. I mean, it's I don't know.
Oh, I agree with you. I
Yeah.
haven't played for years, but yes, but it's that natural swing of, that you have that I've always been jealous of.
And your son is how old now?
2 years.
2 years old.
Yeah.
So,
Well, he turns 2 at the end of next month.
so I mean, you don't have time for golf when you got kids.
Well, my dad always I think Mark Twain said golf's a good walk wasted. So
Yes.
I'm just kind of always, just kind of live by that. So.
I think that's a good way to go. I could never go out there for that. I mean, I have 4 kids, and it's like
Yeah.
it's a zoo. There's always somewhere to go.
I play the slice game like no other. I mean, I literally, and if we're on like a narrow, what is it, off the tee or whatever you call
Right.
it, like, about to drive, and I'm playing on a narrow, like, with houses on each side, like, I have to stand like 45 degrees to the right, just so I can, land it perfectly
Happy
straight.
Gilmore.
Yeah, land it perfectly straight on the, no running up to it, but just like I have to, 45 degrees to the right, so it lands perfectly on the fairway. I mean, it only goes like 30 yards, but.
That's all right.
Yeah.
We've got some stuff to talk about your slap shot. So
Yes.
as a known two-way player,
Yes.
and that's really what we want to get to is like, tell us where you are. Like last year, when I met you, you were in like an injury recovery mode, and now obviously you played last year in Switzerland, correct?
So what happened was, I guess I'll go back to kind of the injury, and I mean, I've had 2 pretty bad knee-on-knee collusions. One when I was at a boarding school called Shattuck St. Mary's. I'm sure a lot of the fans listening know what that is. Sidney Crosby went there, Jonathan Toews, Kyle Okpo. So I mean, it's just like a hockey factory. Anyways, I went there, and in my first year there, I was Bantam. I was a freshman in high school, and I went knee on knee. So I was out for like a while there, and got back. I really didn't have any knee trouble until was preseason, and Rafi Torres came, took my knee out, and that was, you know, it was bad. I ended up getting back pretty quick through, I mean, great physical rehab with my trainer Tierra Goodman, and I mean, he got me back pretty quick, and then I've just kind of suffered, you know, after that. I mean, I was really on the up and up. I mean, even we talked about it before. I had a great playoff series against Detroit. I think back in 2013.
Right.
And
Jason recalls that, because I
No,
think you
yeah.
tore them up.
And I even said, who is this Etem guy? I said, get him on the Red Wings. He's killing us two ways. And I remember, I was at Game 7 actually, and I remember just watching the game and watching you play, and you were everywhere. It was one of those situations where you have a player's down here, and he's over here. Everywhere where the puck was, you were down there, and it was really impressive to watch. And we were fortunate to win that series, and but it was really impressive watching you play.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I just I think, you know, going in, getting drafted, and all this stuff, you go out, you set goals for yourself, and just in career-wise, and I just felt like I was on such a good path, and then just, you know, the injuries to the same knee, and so fast forward to a couple of years after that, you know, I was up and down in the minors with Anaheim, you know, still kind of dealing with the knee. You know, I had spurts of, you know, flashes and stuff like that where, you know, I felt my game was pretty good, but I mean, nowhere near that level, I guess you can say. So, I mean, that's just the goal, getting back to the pace I was playing at, the speed. That is my game. I mean, ever since juniors, that's all I've really known. And yeah, I mean, I was kind of getting back there when I was in Vancouver. So I got traded from Anaheim after 3 years. My entry-level deal was done, and then I got traded to the Rangers for Carl Hagelin, and he ended up getting traded to Pittsburgh after that, and I was dealt to Vancouver. And then towards the end in 2016, during the end of that season, maybe the last, you know, 10, 20 games, I really started to pick it up. I was playing with Bo Horvat and you know, Sven Berici. I mean, we had a great line, and
Oh yeah.
Derek Dorsett was paired with us for a few games. I mean, he brought grit, and I mean, he can also. I mean, I think a lot of people underestimate Derek Dorsett. He had to hang him up. He had to retire from injuries. But I mean, not only did he work, you know, hard and you know, lay on the line each and every night, but he brought good hockey sense. He brought that grit. He went to the net, and so he did a lot of dirty work for us. I went to the net, and then Bo Horvat did what he did, and you know, I think we had a lot of success there. And so after that, I re-signed with Vancouver. I mean, things were looking really good, and then just throughout the you know, in the summer, the knee started flaring up. I was diagnosed with just severe tendinosis in that same left knee. So I tried. If I could go back in time, I would have just put on, you know, long-term injury reserve, and then just waited out till I got, you know, some really good rehab. I just wasn't ready. The cartilage wasn't ready. I mean, just there was so much fluid buildup, and I was pretty much just on you know, one leg out there for preseason. So I played, you know, 3 preseason days. Yeah, I was so excited just because I had such a good time, and me and my family had such a good time in Vancouver. I love the organization, and I was like, God, I can't wait for the season to roll around. I think that just got in front of my mindset, my head, and so I just I got put on waivers. Anaheim picked me up again. I played 3 games once again on you know, one leg. I mean, I had the same obviously problem, and that was just kind of it. I had surgery down in San Diego with Dr. David. It was successful. You know, try to rehab that whole year, no real progress, and so I played, you know, 4 games that year. So I pretty much missed the whole year in 2017, and it's just kind of hard to come back from something like. I mean, the games are so
brutal.
fast that I mean, even if you're missing, you know, 10 games in the regular season, you're just like, I mean, it takes you a few games and you miss a whole year. I mean, that's just tough. So.
Oh, injuries at that level are just brutal on conditioning and everything. You see it when the guys come back. It's like they've got, you know, they've got a whole long way to go.
Yeah, so,
My question though is when you have a different organization though that obviously sees that you have flashes of brilliance and you have it in you to play a certain way, don't they take that into consideration and say, hey, maybe we should put him on long-term IR, and instead of just putting him on waivers, let's let him rehab it, let him fix this and bring him back, because we know we want him, he could benefit us. Isn't there any thought that goes into that, or did you just say cut him loose? Is that?
no, for sure, but I think it's actually up to the player as well. I mean, guys battle through injuries all the time.
Right.
I mean, even if it's playoffs and team needs you or whatever. I mean, you're saying, even the doctor's saying, hey, maybe take a shift off, or what. I mean, you're going back out there. You're just so excited, and I think that's, like I said, I wasn't like thinking. I was just like, I was so excited. I was just put me out there.
You love playing.
Yeah,
Forget it.
exactly.
You don't want to be sitting,
It's-
thinking it through. You want to do it.
It's always also amazing too, after the playoffs are over, to hear some of these injuries these guys have played
Exactly.
through.
Yeah.
I remember I heard about I can't remember which Red Wing it was, after one of the playoff seasons had like a ruptured testicle, and someone else had a big hematoma that they would bandage. It's just a fractured ankle. I mean, these are like significant injuries.
You just said testicle. I just want to.
It hasn't been said before.
No, it hasn't. So I just wanted to.
I'll have to have Sean do a search on that one.
I think-
Let's
I think
fact check
you're
that.
gonna-
I haven't heard that story.
I just.
Well, I was actually.
I've heard broken ribs.
Yeah.
I've heard.
I never heard of a.
I will
ruptured
look it up while we're
testicle.
talking. I will look it up. I think it might have
And you
been.
think it was a Red Wing?
It was
You
definitely.
sure it wasn't you? Because maybe it was you that was upset that they didn't.
Beer
go to
league?
the-
Did you have a?
Maybe it was in 2009.
No, I can't skate. I can't skate backwards. If you could teach me, I'd appreciate it, because that's been my biggest
How
fault.
tall are you?
I'm almost 6'7".
6'7".
Yeah, I used to be much
He's too
bigger,
tall. He's too
No,
tall.
I mean,
He's really
Char
too big.
is what,
Yeah.
6?
6'9", but I'm right now. I mean, I haven't worked out as much. Obviously, I'm an old man at this point, but I'm about 215. But when I was working, I have a picture I could show you. I was about 240. And, I mean, I was pretty
Wow,
big. Yeah,
really?
yeah. Yeah, I was about
I'm
230.
surprised you didn't go to Michigan State. You've been like,
Well, I told you
right
I
on the
can't
line.
skate.
You've done
No,
it.
when I was in
No.
high school,
Like
when I
football?
graduated. Listen, when I graduated high school, I was the same height. I was about 170. I was emaciated. Okay, this was a terrible
All right.
situation.
I didn't say be the baseball bat. I said act it.
But I could still hit.
All right, good. Well, that's
I'll
good.
look it up right now. I'm doing my little literature search while you're
There's no,
talking.
there is no testicle rupture that's going to come up on Google.
It was-
in the playoffs.
Or
That's not
hematoma.
happening.
It was a hematoma, one of the two. But
Maybe,
No, he's already starting to change it, but anyway.
Exactly. yeah. So tell us though, Emerson, where are you now? So last year, you went and you played in Europe.
Yeah, so I was.
How did that go?
Yeah, I was still dealing with the knee a little bit. I mean, all the doctors and I worked with, not really worked. I mean, he checked my MRI was Elatrosh.
Oh, yeah.
In
Yeah.
LA. I mean,
Fantastic.
curling job guy. I mean,
Yeah, he's great.
I think
spoke-
he's Sly Stallone's brother-in-law. I think it is. I think he's related to him.
Electrosh?
Yeah, I think he
Really?
is. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah, I think I heard that. Yeah.
You know who would know that is Snibby.
Yes, I think
Snibby
Snibby.
would be
Yeah,
the one.
we'll have to confirm that.
Yeah, 3 or 4. I mean, really high-end doctors. Took
But not
the
Snibby,
MRI.
so we can
and-
tell him that.
Okay,
You
yeah,
didn't see
yeah.
it. No, he's a very Snibby's one of our buds. He comes on here,
Okay.
he's great.
Yeah.
And he actually is the hip guy for the Kings.
Okay, cool.
So I don't know if you bumped into him. You're not a hip guy.
No.
I'm sure he knows a lot of the guys pretty well.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
that's the big
Hopefully,
issue.
I just meet him around the arena.
Exactly,
Yeah,
not-
yeah.
Not to
Not going
get a
under the
hip
knife.
look.
Yeah. So, and all the doctors just came back. I mean, nothing really showed on the MRI. I mean, maybe like a little slight, tear under the kneecap. I got pictures because on the MRI you can't see, cartilage a lot. I mean, he went to tell David when I was getting my scope done. He took a couple pictures, and the cartilage is just everywhere. Anyways, he cleaned it up pretty good. And but all the doctors said, I mean, this is going to be resolved in 2 years, and you should be just, flying out there again. And
That's great.
so, I mean, obviously, since the scope, it was about a year when I went into training camp with the Arizona Coyotes organization, which was the beginning of last year.
Right.
I mean, had a great camp, and then after that, just the knee kind of just started flaring up again, and I was just like, you know what, it's still not there, and, a couple other things were happening. I mean, I pulled my groin because of, all the
protecting
tightness
it.
in the knee,
That's right.
and so, I mean, I was like, look, let me try something else, let me try to go on the bigger ice, and and see if just I have more time and space out there to maybe just slow my game down, not have to skate as much and all this stuff. So I terminated my contract with Arizona. I was like, I just need a different feel, need a different look. Let me see the bigger ice can help me out. Go over to Lugano in the Swiss League, beautiful area, Lugano.
Nice.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Not too shabby.
Yeah. So
I think didn't Damian Brunner play on Lugano?
yeah, he was actually there. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, he was. Actually, he did really well in that Detroit series.
Yeah,
too.
he did.
Yeah, we even talked about it. But
Yeah.
so I went over there. I mean, it was just more skating, more skating. I mean, those guys are pretty fast. And I mean, I tore my calf actually on the same leg the first game, and it was just kind of a nightmare.
Oh,
And then
wow.
it was,
Are you kidding?
yeah. I mean, and that's not even a hockey injury. I mean, sprinters get like torn calves.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just another bad luck, and so I ended up playing 5 games there, trying to battle through the calf injury, and it was kind of a nightmare. But so anyways, I mean, I'm rolling around the two-year mark here of the initial prognosis of when the doctor said everything should be feeling good, and I'm feeling better really than ever.
Really?
And
Good.
so the knee is, I mean, back to 100%. It's feeling great. I've been skating right now at Toyota Center, just getting ready for camp, and I mean, this is the best I've felt in a long time.
That's great.
That's great news.
Yeah, I mean,
So
if you think it's gonna hold up for you, then it's good. It's got to do the job.
yeah.
So what about your? I mean, I'm sure your conditioning. You probably kept that up because I mean, you're a
Yeah.
hard-working dude.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
that. But what about your the hockey agility and all those sort of things? What have you been doing to keep that going?
Yeah, I actually work with Tira Goodman. He's he's well known in the hockey world. He trained Chris Chelios and Rob Blake, Sean O'Donnell, Glenn Murray. I mean, I can go, name 20 guys that are, very well known. Chris Simon, Probert. I mean, just like guys that are just, legends.
Hardcore.
Yeah, hardcore.
They're like
and-
the real deal.
yeah, the real
NHLers,
deal,
right?
and I mean, TR really put, I feel like, training on the map in not only the sports world. I mean, he worked with Willie McGinnis in football, a bunch of other, athletes, Carmelita Jeter in track and field. So, I mean, he's very well versatile in what he does, but, I think he really put strength and conditioning on the map in the hockey world. And there's a story about, I think, Chris Chelios. He blew out his knee, but he was able to keep playing just because of the buildup of muscle around his knee and working with TR. And when I say I got back from my first, the neon knee there in the preseason, it would probably take me months in any other situation. But working with TR, he got me back in 3 weeks, and it was just unbelievable what he does. So that's what I've been doing. I've been working with him since I was 13, and I used to train with Rob Blake and Glenn Murray, and I was 13 years old, and he let me hop in there with those guys, and it was quite
That's
an
pretty
eye-opener.
cool.
Yeah, for sure. And actually, I used to watch this DVD called Ice Hot, and it was not produced, but John Davidson was like the host of it. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Yeah, I don't remember the DVD. But
Yeah,
it's funny.
and anyway,
What was it called?
it was called Ice Hot, and there's like 2 years of it. There was like 96, 97, because I remember on it, the Avalanche won it, so it was like 96, 97, and like 97, 98 or something like that.
Yeah,
It was just like a highlight. It was almost like a Don Cherry. What was the, whatever Don Cherry, what are those videos that he...
yeah, I remember those being around too, where he just
So
pulled all the best plays.
Yeah,
and
it was kind of like the same thing, and it was just like an hour highlight of it. But anyways, I've seen, those guys in those videos, Chelios and Blake, and to be like 13 and training with those guys was pretty awesome. And so I've been doing that, and he stayed pretty consistent. He's not like a lot of trainers where, it's just like the new things in, and now we're just going to bring out, the ladders and all that. And not to say ladders aren't bad or anything, but he's very consistent in what he does, and not a whole lot has changed since I was 13 years old. And I feel like I'm always going into camp in the best shape, and I think that's all that matters. So I'm feeling great right now, and I'm I'm ready for camp, really.
It's gonna be awesome. When do you
Yeah.
start? When does that tee off?
The 13th of September. So,
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, looking at, and it's really the opportunity is for you to make the Kings, right?
Yeah.
And, I mean, based on how I've seen you play and what the Kings need, there is a role for you on the Kings for sure. And I'm sure that's why they're saying, let's get Emerson over here and have a look.
Yeah. I think for me, it's always just, and when you're going in a situation where you're trying to earn a contract, you obviously gotta stand out. And I think one of the ways that I can do it is just, I mean, every shift, making an impact, a positive impact on the game, whether that's, a fight, a goal, drawing a penalty. I mean, every shift, if I can do something to help the team out, I think that's the best way for me to have success. So that's the mindset going in camp.
Well, I think if you're, I mean, again, I don't know, it's been probably 2 years since you've had that, extended period where you've gotten to play a lot of games, in a row.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the Kings, we had Jim Fox and we talked to him a little bit about what they need, and they just brought on Ilya Kovalchuk.
Yeah.
So that kind of tells you what they're looking for.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I'm on a PTO. Like I gotta make it. I'm not even looking, more than the first day of camp and testing kind of thing. But I mean, I grew up watching the Kings. I have pictures of me. There's a tournament called the Brick Tournament for like 12, 13 years old up in Edmonton. It's actually a funny story. We had, by far the best jerseys in the tournament. I mean, the King Classic Kings. Paul v. Deadmarsh. I mean, it was like the jersey, the 2000 jersey. I mean, just, which one I'm talking about. But anyways, we were rocking those, and, all these other teams had these temporary, just summer hockey jerseys, and our jerseys were like 200, bucks.
They were the real thing.
Yeah.
They were
Because,
awesome.
back in the day, you got to buy your own jersey, this, that. And so at the end of the tournament, we lost in the finals. I remember that. And the big tradition in that tournament is we got to trade our jerseys. And I ended up trading the white one, the home jersey, to the Brick team, which is the host of the tournament, and their captain. And so I got the jersey. Anyway, I told my mom. My mom flipped out. She's like, "What are you doing? That cost me $200. You have the best jersey in the tournament." Anyways, I had to go back to the captain, and it's just like, "Hey, my mom's flipping out. Like, I need that jersey back." And so, anyways, I mean, that's just, I can't, like, how far.
Did he give it to you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, you see my mom. I mean, the look in her eyes. I mean, any kid would have given it back.
I'm getting that jersey back.
Yeah. So
she's gonna get on the ice and get on skates and get it from you.
That's right.
Exactly. So, I mean, that's just, goes to show how far back my ties with. I mean, not only am I from here, but I played for the Junior Kings and all that stuff. So, I mean, it really would be a dream come true. To put on that jersey. Yeah.
And I think they would. I think just looking at how they played last year. And I don't know, how much did you follow the NHL while you weren't here? Were you like... Yeah,
no, I was pretty... I mean, playoffs is a whole different... Like anyone. I mean, the regular season, obviously you're tuning in and that's that. But, so, yeah, I definitely was.
So I thought that last year, and, I'm not the offensive coach of the Kings, but just watching how they played, they really needed something to light up the offense. They obviously, they were like if not top, but one of the top defensive teams in
number
the
two.
league.
I think number 2 power play. I think it was too.
Yeah, they had a great power play, but boy, their even strength goals were just, they were just thin.
Well, I think
really
being a two-way player the way you are and being aggressive on defense as a forward, I think sets you apart already. I mean, that's something that's a unique skill that most players, I would say most, there's a decent number of players just don't have. And I think some players can change their game. I remember when Scotty Bowman came to the Wings and said to Yzerman, "You're playing two-way, more defense than you can play offense," and he changed his game. And so, I think players can change it, but if you have that innate ability, that's something that sets you apart. I think that's a great.
Like a line with like a Kempe and a Tanner Pearson or a Jeff Carter.
Toffoli,
and that's sort of the combination I think is what they're missing. They don't have they either have. Like their lines just seemed wrong to me. There was just too much of one thing on each line, and they didn't have enough mix of of different talents on each line, so they wound up doing things that looked kind of cool and they were
But
exciting.
then they have a new
just-
coach mid-season, and so things kind of just,
No, not mid-season, the beginning of the season.
we're at the beginning of the season,
Yeah,
so
they
things
had a
take a little while
wholesale
to,
change
yeah,
of
it takes a
the-
while to gel. Plus
So-
also with each player, as you know, it depends on the system they play.
Mhm.
So you have a very good player that may be in a certain system that just isn't able to kind of express himself and play the way he wants to, get into a different system, whether it's puck possession or whatever else, and all of a sudden the player's a different player. That happened to Thomas Vanek. I mean, Vanek came to the
Yeah.
Wings after he hadn't played as well. He went to Vancouver and signed with Vancouver late last year, but he's come back to the Wings now. But he was a different player when he was with the Wings.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
you know, that's,
Totally.
and good for him. Because it takes a team to do that, to get someone, you know, back to where they should be, I think, and get their game going.
Well, you see that with a lot of players. I mean, it depends who their line mates are. They
Sure.
become totally different players. I mean, I have Ducks season tickets, so I watch the Ducks a lot. And, I sit right by the penalty box and have that view. So, when they had, what's his name? Who's the guy that went out with Guillaume Beret? Blanking his name. Yeah, the big beard.
Patrick Eaves.
Eaves. When
Yeah.
Eaves was playing, okay, he changed the character of the way Ryan Getzlaf played.
Of course.
Getzlaf and Eaves was like, it was like a completely
They're
different
tearing it up.
player.
Yeah.
And then when Eaves went out, and I hope he makes it back soon, and I don't know, Guillaume Beret's a big problem, obviously.
Well, you can recover from it. I
He
mean,
can recover,
it's,
but, I mean, that's a big one, on muscular atrophy, et cetera.
So what is that? What is?
it's a condition where basically it's an infection of the nerves that can develop, and it causes weakness and can be life-threatening if it's not caught enough. But some people can get double vision and other weakness, and it's something that we can contract usually from a GI virus.
And
But-
it's a temporary, because it's coming back, so it's a
He is coming
temporary.
back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as far as I
He also,
know.
but also, remember, he came back from a devastating puck to the jaw injury when he was with the Wings years ago. I mean, he's had a lot. He's had a real rough go of it too.
Yeah,
So
no,
it's.
he's no spring chicken either, I think he's 34?
And, oh, by the way, research team is now contacting me. It was Nick Lidstrom in, I think, 2009, had an injured testicle from the puck. Actually, no, it wasn't from a puck. Patrick Sharp gave him a "How's your father?" stick up the middle,
Oh, really?
up the groin is what happened.
All right,
And,
well, so, I stand corrected.
Yeah.
You remember your testicles well, congratulations.
I,
I'm glad you
a lot
got
of
that
testicle
right.
stories for you.
I don't wanna hear any of them either, so, well, I really hope that, it goes well for your training camp. I mean, we wanna see you back out on the ice. We wanna see you
Absolutely.
with the Kings, that would be just high time for you to get the, to complete sort of that promise as a first round draft pick. I mean, you've been plagued by, the knee, and by the way, this is why the knee-on-knee rules are there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge issue.
Obviously, sometimes these things just happen, but if you look at some of those plays slow down, the guy's definitely sticking his leg out. And this is a matter of, I don't think
Totally.
it's also, some of them are just so blatant. Here's my problem with the NHL though. With injuries like that could be easily avoided, they judge the penalty not during the game but afterwards, whether it's one game or whatever else, based on the extent of injury of the other player.
Yeah.
And I think that's wrong to do. That's like saying, well, he robbed a bank, he only got $5 from the bank. You know what? Give him a day in jail and that's it. Either you did it or you didn't.
Yeah.
And if it's an intent to injure, which that is absolutely an intent to injure. It's not a head injury, which is obviously still on the forefront, but that's an intent to injure somebody, much like in football, blocking below the knee, a chop block. I think you gotta be tough and say initially it's 5 games for the first offense or 10 games for the first, and guys will think twice about doing that.
Well, it's like
You
Brad
know?
Marchand.
Yeah,
I mean, Brad
yeah.
Marchand does things to people that I think
These
he should
lick
be taken
people,
off.
you can't. No, you
Those
can't
are
do that.
Career-ending moves. Licking people, I think.
I've never got that. Like just coming across the middle, you see a guy. I mean, he just made a pass. A couple of seconds after, and it's not even okay. A couple of seconds after, and you already shouldn't be doing something stupid. But I mean, just to like lift your elbow up and just.
Right.
I've never got the thought process of sticking your elbow up or seeing the jersey numbers when a guy's facing the boards or trying.
Right.
No.
Like I don't know if I'm too good of a person. Like, you know what I mean? Like It's
No,
just
you're
common sense,
sensible,
and it's,
right, you
yeah,
don't
it's
do
just
that to
sensible,
people.
yeah.
That's right, you
And
don't do that to
never-
people.
I've
Right.
never got that, just the carelessness of some of the players.
It's career-ending
Just-
moves.
Yeah.
It really
We're
is.
doctors, we can tell you, it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
bad to have your bells
Yeah.
rung that way.
I am not wearing a visor actually for the first time in my career. this
Oh,
year,
really?
So, yeah.
Now, do you
see how
notice?
that goes,
Now, do you notice a difference playing without a visor and skating
I
without one?
love
Is
it.
it?
It's a funny story. I mean, we just got a mini bull terrier, and if you're looking for a dog out there, and you don't want everything chewed up, don't get a mini bull terrier. So, anyways, early in the summer, I was, just drying my equipment out, and come home and see my helmet just all over the place, just the visor off and everything. And the hockey store was too far away for me to get a quick fix, so I went out with just a helmet. I mean, I was missing the ear loops and no strap,
Right.
and no visor, and I went out just like, God, I like this, like I just can't
You
go
can see it
back.
better.
And ever since then, like I can't go back. So.
Hey man, you know a good plastic surgeon, I'm
Yeah,
here
yeah,
for you.
yeah,
You know,
exactly, yeah.
When the puck tears
Yeah,
up your nose
yeah,
or whatever,
yeah,
we got it, that's not a big deal.
Yeah, so see how that
Handle
goes.
that over the
Yeah.
weekend.
See, but I always think about my Jewish grandmother saying, "You'll put your eye out." That's the thing. Is I was, or you hurt your testicle, one of the two. But she's
Not
always,
with a puck, you're not gonna put
it's
Yeah,
always-
you know what? I did tell my dad, and he's like, "Gosh, Emerson, you sure you want to do that?" Like,
Yeah.
he-
See, if I had my way, you
Yeah.
guys would be wearing the face shields like you do in college.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Just, no,
I know, but that's just.
No,
just-
I
not
think
happening.
there.
I
well,
know that, but I'm just saying from my perspective, I get worried because I know the injuries that can happen
I
at this.
think the dental bills for some of those colleges are just through the roof or something. I was hearing some kind of
Because of the
stories
face,
because of the
Really?
coming up or
Oh.
something like it somehow it. I don't want to say worse.
Not the
I don't know.
best, right.
I want to make sure
Interesting.
I'm getting my facts straight here, but I think something along the lines with that. I just
Hockey's an inherently dangerous. You're gonna miss some pieces of your body, if not your testicles, on this deal.
Yeah,
that's,
well-
that's kind of the way that it's gonna go. You
But
gotta
that's part of it.
just
I
deal
mean, I
with
don't think the fans want to see
No.
cages out there.
They don't, not at all.
Yeah.
They want to see everybody's face. They want to
Yeah.
see the grit.
It's hard enough as it is just with a helmet and visor. I
Yeah.
mean, I think part of the I don't know marketing of players. I mean, if you're a basketball player, everyone can see you.
Yes.
Football's even a little tough. I mean, sometimes you could be a superstar and you're like, what does he really look like? And I think that's the same that goes for hockey, but soccer, basketball. I mean, everyone just
See, I remember back in the
looks
day-
like, and I think that's the goal of the NHL.
It is. Yeah. You want to see the guys' faces.
Yeah, but back
see
in the
what's
day,
going on.
we used to watch hockey when we were kids when there was no helmets.
Yeah.
And I mean,
No.
back in the '70s,
No helmet.
no helmet.
it was
And I
like
remember the big deal was
big
when
hair.
Ron Duguay, when he signed
That's
with the
right,
Wings,
man.
he had the hair flow and everything else, and
Craig
it was just
McTavish, too.
McTavish had
Well,
the
McTavish was the last one, and
Yes.
everyone's just wearing just these, dusty buckets. And
right.
Then he's just, with this flow, and he's the only one. I thought that was pretty awesome.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Well, I think the hair was big. Remember Guy Lafleur?
Guy
He
Lafleur,
had the sick
He had the
hair,
flow.
man.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
had
Wayne-
crazy
Wayne had the
hair.
flow
Yeah, Wayne
inside.
he had a sick mullet, man.
Yeah.
Yager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yager.
Yager with the helmet, though.
Yager.
Yeah.
Yager was mullet plus helmet.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah.
Yeah, Gretzky, I don't think ever played without a helmet. I don't think
he did because he came in the league in '79.
with just the
In
mullet.
the beginning, yeah, I think so. And then
Because
he,
Gretzky had a good mullet.
Yeah.
It was really, really coiffed perfectly.
Yeah.
It was, it
or he
takes-
didn't have to play with one, but he played with one. I think it was the older school one. But
Actually, a guy I trained with sent me a video, and it was of Gretzky, and everyone back in the day had hair that they I don't know what they did with it, but it was all puffy. What
it was
did they
feathered.
do?
It was feathered hair.
Feather. What,
Yeah.
what does that mean?
I can never. It's like it's coiffed in the front. I can never feather my hair. But yes,
Don't worry, I had that hair.
You had feathered hair.
Big time.
Yes,
I had
you
a-
told
I
me.
had a mullet. It was feathered. It was great.
What do you do to get something like
You have
that?
to cut it a certain way, and then
Yeah.
you have to blow dry it a certain way. It
Blow
really
dry,
takes, it
maybe
takes
that's
some
what
work.
it is. Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah, it took a lot of work to have that look. I only did it on the weekends. We didn't really have time from, in school you just kind of went. But
Yeah.
on the weekends, if you were going out to the roller rink,
with your comb in your back
then you,
pocket.
if you were
Yeah.
going to skate at the roller rink, you needed, seriously feathered hair,
Yeah,
comb
yeah.
in the back pocket, and it needed to fly behind you like
Oh yeah.
Yager's
Well, it's
hair.
even big for guys doing warm ups nowadays. They
Right.
quick look in the mirror before they go out for warm-ups without the bucket. I mean, that's
You
a
bet.
huge deal. I mean, I can only imagine, for a full 60 minutes, what, maybe guys after a hard shift just go to the mirror real quick, go to the bathroom, and then come back on the bench.
Ron
or something
Duguay
like that.
definitely did.
yeah.
He was super handsome. Like,
Little Aussie sprunch spray and get it on there and.
Yeah,
Ron
did they have the spray next to the Gatorade bottle?
Exactly.
a little bit of hairnet.
Yeah.
Totally. Ron Duguay was like this super handsome guy.
Yes.
Like when he was playing, because I remember he came to like the Livingston Mall right by my house, and he was signing autographs, and there was like literally 5,000 girls down the road to like get this guy's autograph. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And he just sat there. Oh, what's your name? And they'd be like, oh, just freaking pass out. And he was cool though. I mean,
Yeah.
Ron Duguay was a great player.
He was a very
too.
good player,
He
absolutely.
was a great player, and
He could
but
back it up with the
super
hair.
cool guy.
Yeah.
I think he comes on the NHL Network every
Yes.
once in a while now, call stuff.
Yeah.
Super cool guy, and it was fun to watch him play. He was one of the first guys that I was watching as in the Rangers in the Garden. He was superb, really excellent. Well, you got to grow some more hair and get it feathered.
Yeah,
down, Emerson. I
yeah.
think you could do that.
Oh yeah.
That might be your hook.
Well, you know what?
a new mullet.
I had to cut it just because I'm going serious and everything right now. I'm all business, but I just had like a mohawk, kind of pulled back into a man bun. It was very European. I mean, over when I was in Europe, it was very fitting.
That works.
As much as I wanted to keep it, I had to get rid of it.
I'm glad you got rid of the man bun.
No, but it's something that I just need to score goals before I pull something back off. So once I
think
start
so.
scoring goals, then we'll see.
I mean, Brent Burns has a right to grow out that beard.
Exactly, but
that's
that's
yeah.
part of
It's
that's
just
why
part of his
everyone
allure.
loves them, though, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what hockey needs more.
Yeah.
Just more of that, more.
Yeah, he goes with the man bun.
Well,
every
but
once in
the
a
thing is, in all reality, though, hockey and hockey players in general are not flashy. When you watch their in between period interviews, they're
But
basically all the same, and there's for a reason. But it's all, oh, that was a great shot over there, and tell me about the last goal. Well, we came down the ice pretty hard and put the puck in the zone and got a little bounce and it got in the net. It's every, well, probably from like Quebec or something like that. But then, like, then they'll say, well, you got that hit on so and so. Well, tell us about the hit. Well, he just got in my way, and it's very, very, it's subdued. It's very low key, and I want to hear somebody get out there and say, you know what? That guy came across the ice. I let him have it, and if it happens again, he's gonna get it again. I want to see something like big time wrestling.
But wouldn't fans want to see that more? Like,
yeah.
I mean, like just.
Oh, they want to go
So-
WWE.
Yeah, that's my point.
They
But you
want
know
like
what I
a
mean? Like,
SmackDown plus
If I'm a viewer, I even get mixed up with my words because I just feel like I'm just saying the same thing over and over. I mean, half the time I'm just like, here we go again kind of thing.
Get like Slapshot. Put a bounty on someone.
Yeah.
That's what I want to hear.
But there isn't a hockey player. If you just think it through, there isn't anybody that plays in the NHL, and it must be the coaching. I don't know. You were there. There's no guy that comes out and does that who's just like, I can't take it anymore. Like, it's driving me nuts.
No, there's not one
they don't say
player,
that stuff.
and-
They're all very cordial, very much like
But
yeah,
I think
well,
that there's
it's-
something behind that. I
Yeah,
mean, there's
there is.
something just because we all wear suits.
Yep.
I mean, look at the NBA and just how they market. I mean, the kids down the street are wearing KD shoes. And,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's
Big
tough with obviously skates, but I mean, there can be more done to self-promote guys, and I mean, you'll see guys on Instagram. I know Pasternak and some of these younger kids are.
Watching Tatar posted about him shooting and training today.
Yeah, I think a lot of the younger guys on Instagram, and I think social media will be a big help on this. I mean, you'll see the designers and the fashion they're into and stuff like that, and so I think it's going to be more prevalent, coming up here. But I just think everyone's just waiting to just show what they got, show what kind of style they want to bring to the
They
arena.
should.
But I think kids will appreciate that. I mean.
Definitely.
For me, the suit and tie thing, it's something we've always done, but,
See, I want to see in the locker room what they're talking about in between periods more so. I want to get behind the scenes and pull the curtain back a bit and hear oh, you got that guy, great hit, and you took him out or whatever it was. I want to be able to hear the guys get real.
yeah.
And I think that I don't think hockey's that type of sport. It's more of a gentleman's sport in that sense, which is why you don't hear it as much. I think football, it's more out in the open. I think.
Yeah.
I think it's
Oh,
it's
I was just gonna bring Hard Knocks up.
That's
I mean,
something I think it would be great for
Well, they
hockey.
do the Winter Classic.
They do the Winter
Classic,
Classic.
our producer.
Yes.
Yeah, they do the Winter Classic, kind
Love
of
the
behind
Winter Classic.
Yeah, behind the scenes or whatever the thing's called.
Love
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I just, but you know, and every time I mean, I met a few players, and obviously yourself included, nicest guys on the planet, and you know, it's amazing how you can turn it on and be and Dr. Howe told us about his dad. Like he could just turn it on and be a different person off the ice, and on the ice, he's just, you don't mess with him, you don't come near him, and that's something I think it's hard for me to relate to that.
Well, it's definitely the future. I agree with Emerson that you want to see more personality
Yeah.
from the players. So that, and it's just so that you can identify more and root for them.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, for
You
sure,
know,
for sure.
and that's the key. I mean, like, you know, we had Seth Jones on. Seth is just, he's a super cool guy,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
amazing, just professional as they
Yeah,
come. But
yeah.
you know, loads of, you know, he's got a sense of humor. He's
Yeah,
funny.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
really cool to
Yeah,
chat with him.
yeah,
So
sure.
it's great to see that side. And
Yes.
that's also why we like having, like, that's why this podcast is fun, because we get to sit down and like kind of hear what people are thinking,
Yeah,
and hear what the, you know, from Marty McSorley to, you know, with,
I did ask him to punch me in the face.
you did.
Did he?
Yeah, no, he wasn't here. He actually
He
called in.
Skyped in.
He Skyped in, thankfully, because if he took me up on it, I may not be here talking to you.
Yeah.
But nicest guy. We were having a great conversation. It just it popped into my head.
And we had Anders Lee, which was really fun.
Yep.
You know, hearing like, and he talked about like how he was like a late bloomer to
Yeah.
the game, and but he's like he's tearing it up,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, and it's really cool to like chat with him. And I mean, I'd love to get him back to find out how he's feeling about his, you know, line mate John Tavares
yeah,
being
we'll
off.
see how that goes, yeah.
Well,
But they still got Barzal and
Oh, yeah.
I have a little
Lamro
prediction
is
about
there
that.
now, and
I got a little prediction about Barzal. Not for long.
oh yeah,
You think he's going?
I think
Wow.
I think there's a lot of reason for him to find another spot,
I
but
think-
I have no idea.
presumably they have the cash. I haven't looked, but I mean, you'd think they would just lock him up right away, right after the.
I would if I were the
Yeah,
Islanders.
yeah,
He's
I don't know.
fantastic.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I don't see a guy skate like that.
Yeah, yeah.
His skating ability is,
Oh yeah, he can play.
Something
Yeah.
different.
Oh yeah,
and you know, you see a lot of great skaters in the HL, but Barzal, I
Yeah,
think,
yeah.
he really stands out.
yeah. Well, there's this one picture. It was on Instagram on the popular page or whatever, and it was or trending or whatever, and his legs were just, I mean, ginormous.
Oh, I'm
But-
sure. I
Yeah,
mean, the
he's
things
just
that
sitting
he can
down,
do-
and there's one of those things, kind of one of those old school locker room pictures where the guys just, you know, the quads are just busting out of the.
Right, yeah.
Just for the record, my quads have never busted out of anything.
I'm sure they haven't.
No, not a thing.
No, I,
Maybe
especially
tights.
at 170
They,
pounds.
they came out of tights, but that's about it. That's-
No leg day for you, just
No,
strictly arms?
it's just, yeah.
6'7", 170 pounds.
No, not now.
No, but back in the day.
No, I was a kid. I mean, when,
That's,
if I had proper motivation back then as far as a trainer and I was, you know, and I'd stuck with baseball, I would have been a lot bigger.
you're doing better as a neurologist, I think.
You think so?
You're all right.
I don't know about that.
Well, Sean has a little surprise for us today. We're gonna do our first edition of Would You Rather. So, all right, Sean. Yeah.
Give me 1 second.
Okay.
I think he might have had a ruptured testicle. I don't know, he just left. Is he all right? Somebody, get him a doctor. I'm a plastic surgeon. I cannot help in that area. We'll start without him. Let's do it.
Would you rather, Emerson, get punched by Ryan Reeves or take a slap shot from Zdeno Chara?
Oh, punched by Ryan Reeves. All right, yeah.
Totally.
At least a fist will, you know, do some damage, but I mean, what is Chara clock? I mean, was he 107 or what, you know?
Yeah,
No,
that's
I'm
not good.
taking, yeah.
I would definitely take.
I'm
the punch
taking
also.
I'm taking a night at the hospital rather than potentially death.
Death.
Okay, alright, we got face off for $1 million against Patrice Bergeron or Joe Thornton.
Oh God, you know, I'm taking, you know, Jumbo Joe's. He's a bigger guy, so I think Bergeron. I mean, obviously both extremely talented, but just because Jumbo's huge, I don't know why that, you know, why that
I don't
means
know
so
why
much.
that matters.
But I'm just saying, I just Patrice on that one.
You would take it against Patrice for
Yeah,
$1 million?
yeah, yeah.
I would take it against Thornton.
Really?
I think Bergeron is just so sneaky. He's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah. Oh no, I mean they're both.
They're both amazing
yeah,
face-off
yeah,
guys.
yeah, yeah.
You're gonna lose either way, so it doesn't really matter.
Exactly.
All right, go ahead.
So Jason, while you're out,
Yes.
face off for $1 million against Patrice Bergeron or Joe Thornton.
For me to take a face off against?
Yes,
Just a
you-
face off?
For a million, you win $1 million if you win the face-off.
Well, what if I lose? What happens then?
You're just out $1 million that you could have had. Yeah, this is a would you rather, Jesus. I mean, seriously, like, he's
All right.
gonna like, he wants odds on these things. I'm gonna need a little more information.
Is this
about that.
floor hockey or ice
What's
hockey?
Oh, man. Wow,
Grind it
Wow.
home, my friend.
that's right, good, nice work.
Oh,
Can we
jeez.
go back to the Jazz?
For $1 million, okay. Oh, jeez. Bergeron, maybe? I don't know.
I think you're gonna lose either way, so don't worry about it.
Yeah,
You will
I
not have
guess-
the $1 million.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sean, next.
Alright, if you could eat only one Canadian staple for the rest of your life, Tim Hortons or poutine, is that what you said?
God, I mean, that's hard.
Or how about Macintosh toffee?
I think.
Ooh. That's really good
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, when you said staple, I was thinking pierogi, and that's the first thing that came to mind. And yeah, because my old billet mom, I played in Medicine Hat in the Western League, and yeah, my old billet mom made just the most amazing pierogies.
Oh, I love
and,
pierogies. That's like a Pittsburgh thing, too.
well, it's a more Russian thing, obviously,
Right.
but I think it's
Yeah.
bigger in Canada than it is here.
Right.
But anyways, going back to your question, probably Tim Hortons. Just the double is just out of control.
Delish.
And you just have more options. So poutine, or a couple different options from Tim Hortons.
I'd get
I'll
Tim
take
Hortons for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah. That would
No,
be
not
nice.
for sure for me. I mean, it really is a toss up. Just poutine, it just, I mean,
They're both
you
great.
just, yeah. You just can't get. Well, you can't get both of them here, but I mean, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'd go with Tim Hortons.
All right, next one.
Alright, so would you rather get in the octagon with Patrick Waugh or listen to Barry Melrose rant about you for 10 hours?
You know what? I'd probably have to go octagon with Patrick Waugh. I don't know why. I was trying to
Full pads?
yeah, I was trying to analyze
Yeah,
the
octagon's
pro.
gonna be like rounds of 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's as long as you last.
Yeah.
Around 5 minutes.
10 hours at Melrose is tough.
Oh,
yeah.
But you know what? I just, it's more maybe out of curiosity my pick, because when Wall was behind the bench with Colorado, him and Boudreaux got into it. One game I was injured, and so I was out. I was watching on TV back home, and they were in Colorado, and Patrick Waugh actually pushed the split
Yes,
glass
yes.
between the. Do you remember
Yep,
that?
I remember that exactly.
And he like pushed the glass almost, so it almost fell over, and it was just like
More than
so I
once,
know-
too.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
know he can.
He's
pretty
tough,
hot.
man.
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
yeah. Next one.
yeah.
Alright, would you rather teach Jason how to skate for a week or listen to a 5-hour rhinoplasty lecture from Jay?
Well, I don't think. I mean, that's gonna be longer than a week trying to teach you how to skate, right?
But that wasn't the question.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
can have fun during the week.
Yeah. You know what? I think the rhinoplasty.
Whoa, wait a minute.
I think I don't
It's
have.
it's a limited amount of time.
Well, I guess that takes me, next question is gonna be.
I don't have a year to teach someone how to skate.
No, what did he say to you? He said a week.
Yeah.
You're like 6'7", Jason.
Well, that takes my next question away. Then I was gonna ask if you wouldn't mind giving me a couple skating lessons, but apparently the answer is gonna be no.
You gotta know when to like say when. You gotta know when to call.
Oh, that's been my problem all along, Jay. I have no idea when to say when.
All right, well,
Yeah.
we're gonna go to that. All right, any more?
Alright, we got 3 more, and these ones are getting grimy.
Good.
Would you rather have Brent Burns or Don Cherry running your
I mean Brent Burns, just because he's got the whole beard thing, and I'm sure he goes to a pretty nice barber.
He's very
got-
stylish.
He's got the man bun down.
Totally.
And so,
And-
Don Cherry, I don't get why Don Cherry.
Because of his suits. Because of his suits.
Oh,
probably.
his suits just yeah, I get it, but
NHL.
I don't know. I have like almost like curtains I can cut up. I can almost do the trick like that. So I'll cut up curtains for my suit, and then I'll get
Burns
Brent
will help you out.
Didn't Burns get in a fight at one point, and it was a part of his beard that came off at some point?
That was Thornton.
Thornton. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they ripped.
Ripped his
they
beard
ripped
out.
a big chunk of Thornton's
Yes.
beard out on the ice. It was disgusting.
Yeah.
I'd actually want to know why Jumbo he just decided to go with the beard after whatever, 16, 17 years, right? I mean, it's just kind of random.
It is.
It's awesome.
It's huge.
I'm just
It's like the biggest beer.
but
I've
see,
seen.
that's what I think hockey needs more of. You know what I mean? Like just like I don't know. I mean, it could be a bunch of guys with beards out there, but I'm just saying like just something different.
Eve's got a sick.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you, we need like the Hart Foundation.
Like
we need
Anson
everybody.
Carter with the dreads is just iconic.
Yep.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yep,
just
yep.
Yeah.
more of that. I think is.
Remember the Hart
I would like
Foundation
to see it, I
from
don't know.
wrestling, from WWE? The Hart Foundation,
Yes.
and you had all those, okay. We need guys like that, and more characters like that, you're 100% right,
Yeah.
something like that. I wouldn't recommend coming out like in a mask and
Yeah,
start
yeah, yeah,
screaming,
yeah.
but, you know, certainly I think it would be fun to have that.
I mean, I think Burns and Thornton on the Sharks could definitely like sub in for Billy Gibbons and
Right,
whatever.
right,
it
right,
is,
ZZ
for
Top, yeah.
I mean, completely.
Yeah, yeah.
They look great. All right, next one.
Two more. Would you rather eat the catfish from Nashville or eat the octopus from Detroit?
I'm vegan, so none of them.
Oh my
Now,
god.
see, I will go on record as saying, I think that the tradition of throwing a dead animal carcass on the ice is absolutely reprehensible.
I don't like it.
I don't like it at all, I'm sorry.
It's
It makes it harder if you are vegan, so you have to pick one.
no. I'm right there with you.
No,
Like I don't like.
It's just,
They all PC on
I'm sorry, it's disrespectful to the animal, it's a living thing at one point, I'm sorry, there's no reason for it.
Yeah, I just I'm right there with you. And the catfish in Nashville. I just I don't know. I'm sensitive to animals. I just through and through.
not gonna
I
happen.
mean,
You know who else is like that is also like David Backus has an animal foundation. He and his wife are,
Yeah.
that's why he's one of my
Yeah.
favorite players in the
Yeah.
NHL because of what he does for animals. Yeah.
I think it's huge.
Well, the octopus and the catfish are both safe from
Yeah,
Emerson.
yeah.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah, no.
All right, next one.
last one here. Would you rather drink Alex Ovechkin's shower water after a playoff game or get a tattoo from Jason of his choice?
Why am I thrown in here like I'm some?
I gotta. You know what? I
Well, what about a
gotta.
tattoo from Jay? I mean, that's.
I am an artist. I do some sick tattoos.
I feel like I keep going against you, Jason. Here.
Yeah.
But you know what? I
What
gotta.
did I do to wrong
No,
you?
but I gotta pick. The Alex Ovechkin. What is it? Backsplit? What do you?
You're gonna wait. Okay, so you're gonna drink
Shower water,
dirty
yeah.
water from a player's
It was just
sweat.
the Stanley Cup, though.
No,
I
no.
just and you know if
Just won a Stanley Cup, of course. Why
If-
wouldn't you?
yeah,
I don't want to drink anybody else's bath or shower water.
if
Yeah,
he adds
you
a
gotta-
few goals,
Even my own
for
wife,
me,
I would drink her water
You
as
swim,
opposed
you
to.
swim in a pool every once in a while and you're drinking somebody else's shower water. That's how it goes, man. So-
Wow, I'm getting destroyed here today.
And Emerson has a collection of ink, so he
Yeah,
could have
yeah,
hit it
yeah.
somewhere
I know,
too,
I
and
know,
so he
I know,
really,
I know,
really
I
shot you
know.
down. Because he could have
Hey,
said
hey.
like, put it here somewhere.
if that water can add a few goals to me,
That's it.
That's
Magic
it's
water,
all
is that what it
worth
is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd probably drink that water too,
Yeah, yeah.
actually. I don't know that I'd get any goals, but you know, maybe I'd have better teeth.
Don't beat yourself up. Okay.
Yeah.
In general or in hockey?
In hockey, probably.
Oh, I'm
No,
assuming.
Who knows? Maybe Tesla. Maybe that's a.
Yeah,
maybe
guys
that's a
don't
thing
like
that we don't even
talk
talk about.
it. That's right. They don't go running off, man, I really pulled my
Yeah,
nut.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
man, God, I just took one.
Maybe.
Well, I'm assuming the play. Okay, now this may be okay. The players wear cups when they play hockey, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I can imagine. But are there guys that don't wear them?
I've known of
No.
one. I've known of one, just the junior kid back in the day who I was buddy with. But I mean, that's the only one. I just
I
don't-
can't imagine.
You don't think about it. I mean, you just
No.
wear it. And it's not like it
Yeah.
hinders your
Right.
skating or anything. I mean, it's
No, you got
this
it.
is there.
Dude,
anyway.
seriously.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm sure some players that don't. I mean,
No,
Yeah.
no way, that's a puck, dude.
what about your thought that some of the pads should be low or lessened or thinner or whatever else, so that guys aren't using them as?
Yeah, I was actually, just having a discussion with Ryan Miller,
Yep.
the goalie for the Ducks there, and God, he just he gets bent out of shape every time the NHL is calling for restrictions and you got to lessen your size of the pads and all this stuff, and I mean it's got to be frustrating for goalies, right? I mean just
But not just for goalies, but even for like players,
Of
that,
course.
that it's not you because you saw there's some guys that use the pads with the hard shell out front as weapons, with elbows and whatever else. I think that it's something that
You really want a WWE hockey?
No. I think that.
No.
Well, okay, I'll give you an example. I think, like in sports in general, when there's too much padding, guys are a little too free
No, yeah,
to try to injure.
No, I totally. We've been using pads since the same type of heavy equipment since, and it's not necessarily. I mean, they keep coming out with lighter and lighter equipment. It's nothing.
Right.
It's nothing we even think about. I mean, for goalies, it's different. I mean, if someone's saying, hey, you got to go, an inch here, an inch there, and
That's
It makes a difference. Yeah, absolutely.
That would definitely be frustrating. But for us players, I mean, we've had the same shoulder pads. Skates are getting lighter. Everything's getting lighter. So, if anything, it's kind of shaped.
If you could change one rule about the game, what do you think it would be? I know for myself, I get rid of the trapezoid. But for a forward, or from your perspective, what's one rule that you might say they should change that, or whether it's no touch icing, whatever? What do you think that's something that you would probably change about the game? Or
No suits before games. That's literally the only. I mean, I can't think of a rule that I'm too. I mean, for the trapezoid, that's more for the goalies, maybe being a little bit more frustrated. But I can't. I don't know.
because without the trapezoid,
I mean, if it was up to me, 3-on-3 is just so fun. But I mean, that's just
3-on-3 is
yeah,
awesome.
it is awesome.
Yeah,
It's really
so-
fun to watch. Everybody loves it.
I mean, in just a fantasy world, I just switched to 3-on-3. Maybe I don't know, but
Well, I mean, you could look at Ice Cube made the 3-on-3,
yeah.
the basketball league.
Yeah,
Maybe
Right.
there's something like that to do in hockey. But hockey already has a hard time drawing enough fans. I mean, it's really interesting to me because I think it's the most amazing game. But most people can't play, and that's why basketball everybody shoots around, does this or that, or soccer everybody plays. Football is just sort of drilled down your throat once a week on Sundays. But hockey, for whatever reason, hasn't popped up as the number 1, 2, or 3 sport in this country in terms of professional viewership. And I'd love to see hockey go over.
Yeah, I think that's going to change with social media. It's just so much easier to see everything now. On your phone or whatever. I just feel like whether it's a popular page or someone who's never seen a hockey game see just a sweet toe drag for end to end or something like that. Just a quick clip that gets you kind of hooked. I think maybe Instagram or one of these things will just push it that much further.
One of my colleagues is one of the spine surgeons I work with. He's been to a couple games, but isn't jazzed up about it because he says, I don't know. He said to me, I don't know the rules. I don't know how the game's really played. And so he asked me, would you go to a game with me and explain the game to me? And I think you get a different perspective on the game, knowing how the plays are formed, how they're developed, and how things are, the rules are. I think it makes a difference.
Yeah.
And, I think the game's also getting more diverse, which is also a great thing. It's having a wider appeal to a broader audience. And I think that's an important part of where we're seeing the game headed. I think it's an intangible. I think it's going to get better as time goes on, too.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. Is just like you said. I mean, fans. I mean, there's so many different dynamics to the game that. I mean, if you're tagging along with a group of friends and you've never seen a hockey game before or something like that, or you're just a family you've never been to a hockey game, I think it's just so much going on. And I mean, offsides, icing. What penalty is this?
Why
Exactly. Why is this power play? I mean.
Yeah, that's
5-on-3.
true.
I mean,
There's a lot to it.
it's so much to grasp, and I don't know. Maybe that's
And if you're born Canadian, you just know those
yeah.
Well, I always thought that, from my perspective, I look at watching games when I'm at a game from close behind one of the nets, because when the play's coming towards you, you see the actual play develop. It's such a different, unique experience sitting there than sitting at center ice, I think, because you get to see on the power play how the players are coming down, who's coming down, the forwards are pinched. It just seems it's a different perspective on the game.
Oh yeah.
And that's where my seats are when the Wings come to town in October.
Nice.
And I'm betting I'm going to see you out there on the ice.
Oh,
That'd be
thank you.
sick.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah,
We're
that'd be
ready for
incredible.
Thank you.
Well,
Yeah.
this has been thank you so much for coming in, Emerson. This was awesome.
Yeah,
And
it's been
I
fun.
really, we do want to, we're going to be rooting you on. We want to see you on the
Absolutely.
Kings. We want to see you, make the team and do everything you do. Because it is high time. And this has been like a saga in terms of this
You're
team.
due. You're totally due.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for
But
having me.
we're gonna pray for some total healing and
Yeah.
strength in the ligaments, and that your trainers did all the right
Yeah.
things, and hopefully you're gonna tear it up.
Yeah,
It'd be
oh,
awesome.
thank you. Yeah,
And
thanks
it's
for
great
having me.
to-
This was fun.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's great. And we'll check in with you too
Yeah, okay,
as we get
perfect.
through that.
Yeah.
Jason, anything else for this week?
No, I echoing Jay's sentiment. I'm rooting for you, and I just you know, it's good to see a good person get a chance, and I think that you're going to take advantage of it. And I'm looking forward to seeing